tremendously because they have nothing to hope for, nothing to look forward to. And until they do, I'm afraid that if we're not careful, we'll end up with anarchy, because there'll be a point where the young will revolt. You know, we had that big 1911, wasn't it, when that demonstration took force here in Britain. But it wasn't strong enough to hold at that time. There's been a few occasions when there's been little risings up, but there's never any massive group. People have to start speaking to each other, maybe joining clubs. And I think children in school have to be taught about how governments are run. Each school and university should have a mini parliament where the kids can understand what the parliament is for, the for and against it. Because right now, unfortunately, I'm afraid the younger people are spending too much time on their cell phones and
social media.
Social media, yeah.
Maybe that's the way that the governments, maybe that's the way that the war machine, the banks, the oil, the arms, maybe that's where they like to keep people.
Oh, of course, because it keeps them silent.
It keeps them isolated as well, isn't it?
Yes.
It stops them coming to the streets. It stops them, you know, it's quite isolating, the internet and social media.
Yeah, I mean...
It stops human contact.
I mean, when our leaders only are concerned with the 1% of the people and their bottom line and ignore the rest of the citizens, we're in trouble.
They just want to exploit. I mean, the way they just shut down the Redcar Steelworks. So they came to save the banks, but they won't save people. They won't save people's jobs.
No, that is a crime.
This is a George Osborne's Northern Poorhouse, not powerhouse.
I was last year. I was up in the north of England, around Manchester and north there, and I heard tales of 30 men applying for one job and travelling 20 miles to get there to apply for it. And it was happening in every little town and city. Unemployment was rampant last year, and I'm sure it's got any better today. And these are things which make people lose interest in politics.
It's not just unemployment, isn't it? Because we've got this real sort of like low-paid working thing going on. They talk about a minimum wage. The minimum wage is always going to be the maximum wage for these people for their entire life. People, cleaners, people that are working in supermarkets.
What it should be is a living wage. Not a minimum wage, a living wage.
But we've created society where there is no chance of...
Because of greed of politicians and industrialists who feel that their rights come before everyone else's. And until you have a government that curtails their profits and makes them realise that they have to contribute to the wealth and well-being of the whole country and not to their own little enclave,
They don't care about people's well-being. They destroy. It's controlled demolition of the NHS. Mental health is being like taken to pieces.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel that the NHS in Britain is not going to last very long, quite frankly, because they've been selling off sections of it for over a year now, to my knowledge.
And you're going to speak tomorrow with the junior doctors.
Yeah, yeah. But what happens eventually, you see, is when you are taken ill and you go to the hospital and you have to have certain diagnosis and you need this, that or the other, they will say, well, we can do this for you, but this section you'll have to pay for, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's not covered by the National Health Service.
But they've already sold off contracts and.
Oh yeah, yeah. Which is a crime. I mean, any normal thinking government would say, health, safety and welfare and health of the citizens is our main building block.
But that's the whole thing about austerity. They're shrinking the state because they're quite open about it. They want lower taxes, but they want to privatise public health service, privatise public services.
I sometimes, do you remember that old writer, Northerner? He wrote Wigan Pier and 1984. Remember
George
that?
Orwell.
George Orwell, yeah. I get a feeling we're heading to his 1984 lifestyle where the government just rule us. We're like automatons. We just do what we're told and that's it, you know.
That's it. That's where we're at.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I despair, and yet we have pulled ourselves out of so many scrapes over the years. We could have lost the Second World War and been under the boots of Hitler and his crowd, but we didn't. We struggled out of that. And I think we have...
We have to electrify ourselves, Harry, what you said before.
Yeah, we Brits have we're fighters, but we need to be organised to fight these things which are detrimental to our country's health.
Harry's last stand.